Please welcome your host, John Coleman.
I was asked a question: do you see Scrum being used for operational work? The 2017 edition talks about its use for a variety of problems, but not so much in the 2020 edition. So the 2020 Scrum Guide is an attempt to make Scrum more available for non-software. So what they did was to avoid people thinking that it's really just about software, they stripped stuff away. So before there was talk about, for example, the increment need to be potentially releasable, and before that it would have said potentially shippable, and now they're saying that the increment needs to be valuable, useful and usable. And that's an attempt to allow people to use Scrum for a variety of different types of knowledge work. I would be slow to say that Scrum could be used for any type of knowledge work. I think people would need to test it and see whether it works in their type of knowledge work. There is a litmus test for Scrum, which is that you need to be able to deliver a done increment within 30 days. So done is kind of like a list for how we do things around here. If there's more trust, there might be less items on that list. I did another episode on that, so it's not to be misinterpreted as like a process checklist, which could happen in a low trust environment, I guess. So Scrum is really about delivering a done increment in 30 days. So whether you can or cannot deliver a done increment in 30 days, for me, is really down to attitude, because can and cannot is an opinion, really. I think I like what Tobias Mayer says about this. You know, we can all deliver something in 30 days. However, where it gets to the point that by splitting items down, you've created a situation where you're not actually delivering any value, we're not learning anything, and then we have lost the plot. So look at other ways of splitting the items so that you can get value within 30 days. But if you can't, then maybe look at other options like Kanban. But Kanban does require a lot of discipline as well. So with Scrum, you can use it for operational work. It might be suitable for you to do that, actually, because Scrum, to give it credit, it allows you to focus. It's really all about focus. So you have a product goal. So what was your product goal if your work was operational? Maybe your product goal might be about improving your service level agreement or something like that, or compliance, improving your uptime, or I don't know what it would be, but some kind of process type goal, some kind of perfection vision, if you like, as the less people would say, the large scale Scrum people would say. And then a sprint goal could be, you know, what kind of problems are we going to focus on the sprint? Now, you might struggle with operational work to come up with a sprint goal, because the reality could be that you've got tickets actually coming in from all over the place, and the sprint goal, though, in that case could still be maybe the more significant ones. You know, the sprint is seen as a success if we've solved these particular issues. You could use Scrum. You could also use other approaches like Kanban, which allow you to be more flexible during a month in terms of, okay, we can take in more work and so on. You can actually take in work during a Scrum sprint as well, as long as you're not compromising the sprint goal. The problem is that without flow measures, it's difficult to tell whether we are putting the sprint goal at risk. So the tendency is not to bring in items during a sprint in Scrum. So if you feel you need to take in stuff in during a week, even, for example, and there's a lot of that going on, you might struggle with Scrum. You might struggle with Kanban as well, because Kanban is about stopping to start and starting to finish, and it's about looking at relatively aged work and making sure the system doesn't starve. But a lot of the time when there's operational work, people tend to overload the system. There's kind of too many plates spinning all over the place. We're actually getting too much done. So short answer is Scrum could be used for operational work, and probably should, in a situation where you need some kind of stabilizers or crutches to help your team to limit the amount of things it works on at the same time. And if you feel that the team can be more disciplined in terms of limiting the amount of items they work on at the same time, or they can use relative work item aging and they focus on finishing work before starting new work, then you could try Kanban. There are other options available as well, of course, like Conwhip, which would be doing one item at a time. Really, really nice. So the team swarms on one item, gets that sorted, then brings in the next one, and you can do that even individually as well. So lots of approaches, but yeah, you could use it. Should you? That's something that only you can decide. Do you have a goal for your product or your process that allows you to stay focused? Because Scrum is really about goal orientation. Thank you.